Iraq is a very difficult situation. The public is far ahead of the Congress and the White House on Iraq. And because I think the public distills the information it gets. I mean, we know that some of what we're reading in the paper, watching on the news, we got to filter some of it out because some of it's editorializing, some of it's incorrect. But the public has gotten to the point where it recognizes that what's going on in Iraq is not something that we can just win with 160,000 troops. It's a civil war, and the best way I could describe it to you is to say this. The day we have the confidence that an Iraqi soldier who was Sunni will defend an Iraqi civilian who was Shia, or that an Iraqi soldier who was Shia will defend an Iraqi civilian who is Sunni, then perhaps we have a role to play. But today, we're training soldiers that are really more prepared to be part of not the Iraqi army, but of the armies of these warlords who are Sunni or Shia who are trying to gain turf. This is all turf, baby. That's what it is. It's who will control the most territory, especially where the oil is. And these guys haven't decided they want to be one people, Iraqis. They're Sunnis, they're Shia, and they are Kurds. And we have our men and women in uniform caught in the crosshairs of that civil war, where they turn to their left or they turn to the right, and they don't know which one is friend and which one is foe. You get that. The polls for the last 8 to 10 months have said that. Overwhelmingly today, you get that. The House of Representatives, from the very get-go, we try to have a proposal on the floor to vote on that would say, we get it. Let's start moving in a way that's constructive. Redeploy our troops out of Iraq. We've passed by a majority on at least 3, if not 4 occasions, something that would do exactly that. A majority in the Senate gets that. And on at least 3 occasions, the Senate has also voted to change course and redeploy our troops. The problem is this. There is a procedural move that can be made in the Senate that requires not a majority, but a supermajority to always act on anything. To sneeze, you will have to have 60 votes instead of 51 votes in the Senate. And as a result of that supermajority, the majority of Democrats of 51, and really only a working majority of 50, because one of those senators, Senator Tim Johnson of South Dakota, is still recovering from brain surgery, and by the way, making remarkable recovery, means that we always need at least 10 Republicans to vote with us. We only got 1 or 2 the first time. We're up to 3 or 4 now. But you don't get to 60 with 3 or 4 Republicans. And so every time after the House has said, yes, let's redeploy, let's change course, and the Senate by a majority has said, yes, let's change course, the President said, I'm going to veto if you do. And please, my colleagues on the Republican side, hang tough with me. And as a result, once again, including this week, the Senate, by a vote of 53 or 54 to 46 or so, voted to redeploy our troops. But again, the will of the majority cannot prevail because they needed 60 votes. The frustration is beyond for most of us because we know what's going on. We know what the generals are telling us privately. We know it privately because they said it publicly. General Shinseki, if you remember the name, he was the chair of the Joint Chiefs of Staff back when we first were going to go in. And he said this to the President, and he made a mistake. He was foolish enough to say it to the public. We need at least 500,000 to 600,000 troops, not just to win the war, but to win the peace. If you're going to go in and do this. 160,000 ain't going to do it. That's where we are with Iraq. But this is what we have decided to do. And I am fortunate as the assistant to the Speaker, I'm now part of the leadership in the House of Representatives. We have decided that if we can't get the vote now, we're going to keep putting the vote before every member of Congress. So you have to register where you are over and over and over. And then at some point the public is going to connect with the fact that there are a few folks who are depriving the American public of what they seek, and that's a change of course in Iraq. But until then, we just have to keep moving.